are definitely not alive. Do you remember? Had you heard? Did you care? Did you notice all the cleaning bottles everywhere in all the rooms? The teachers were supposed to spray down stuff 3 hours. So if you get COVID on the table, they said 3 hours. If it gets out in the hot sun, it won't even last that. If this is out in the hot sun, because the coat of it is it's a lipid, so it will melt, and it would destroy the virus. Okay, and so that's kind of a cool thing. So remember, direct contact, you can trade body fluids, infected surfaces, infected food. Do we have that problem today, infected food? Yeah. Yeah, but not very often, right? Not very often. Mr. Meeks and I went to Subway in Roselawn that is no longer there, thank goodness. I had a meatball sub and I thought I was going to die. It took me years before I went back. So I caught a bug and it was not good. Yeah.
Yeah, I got sausage pizza Hut probably a few years back. I was vomiting all over the place.
How long did it take you to get it back so you can go back and eat? Have you been back yet?
2 or 3 years.
It takes a while. I could not even look at Subway for years. And Coach Meeks, no problem. Of course, he didn't have what I had either. Okay? So, AIDS, direct contact, cold, you can catch it from the surface or you can catch it from the air, or food poison, which we don't have to worry too much. Okay, let's look at this. This is the most devastating method. This is it, air. It spreads the fastest. I could be talking and I'm spitting out thousands and thousands of microscopic droplets of water. And inside those droplets there could be a virus. That's devastating. All you have to do is breathe one in. Done. Look at the sneeze. If I sneeze, let's say I think I'm going to be safe, it's good manners to, when you sneeze, to turn away. If I turn away and I sneeze toward Jacob, you think he's safe? He's not safe because they go at like 100 miles an hour. And so, shoot, and there's what it looks like. You can't see it. And then after about 2 seconds, some of it's going to get over there. Poor Emily. She's going to get you. Ever had somebody sneeze on you? Yeah. Imagine in COVID if somebody sneezed on you. It's like all of a sudden you're wanting to fight. Like, what are you doing? Okay. So air, most devastating. Sneezes, that's disgusting. Now, true story. 2 days ago I had a raccoon eating my cat food in the middle of the day about 4:30 in the afternoon. Do raccoons run in the middle of the day? No. So there was something wrong with him. And when I went out to just thinking I was going to scare him off, he just looked at me, kept eating, put his face back down in the bowl. And I'm like, okay, this guy's not right. So I went and got a big broom. Big push broom. Came back, he was still eating. Extend the push broom to him, he starts growling. He wasn't moving. I kind of had to get violent with him. But he probably was carrying some kind of disease like rabies. What do you know about rabies? I didn't kill him. If you get it, what happens?
You need 12 shots.
Yeah, you need a series of, if it's still the same, you get the choice. You can have them in your spine or you have them in your belly. And I guess they are very unpleasant. There's only been one person in history documented that's ever survived rabies. And that was an English girl. You have rabies?
Yeah, he does.
Don't bite anybody. Yeah, but this girl's the only one that survived. What it does is rabies, the virus affects the nerve cells and the covering of the brain, and it makes you foam at the mouth. You get more violent, and it's a death sentence. And we have it around here. Here's what it looks like. Right there's what it looks like, a pineapple without the leaves. And there's what I saw 2 days ago. He was a kind of a small guy. I wasn't really awfully scared of him. Okay. I wasn't too scared of him. There are some though that are big that are pretty scary. Look at the insects. Look at the disease that they can do. Malaria. Malaria is kind of bad. It can pass. It's like a worm that gets in and misshapes your blood vessel or your blood cells. It's probably one of the bigger killers. When they built the Panama Canal, killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and all from mosquitoes. So when you see a mosquito biting, don't freak out. We don't have malaria here too much. Okay? Oh, look at this guy. What's that?
Flea.
A flea. How do you know? Have you ever seen a flea? Look at that. They are built to jump. They're the most disgusting. So the Black Death. Remember back in the 1300s, the movie everybody was supposed to watch? They wrote on the backs of rats, infected rats, and they took the blood, and then they would go bite people. And then the people would get it. And since it's a bacteria, it kind of, and everybody had fleas back then, these are the guys. These are called vectors because they're the thing that actually spread the disease. We don't have to worry about Black Death anymore because you can get a shot in your butt and it's still around. You'll hear about it. But as soon as they know what you got, they'll just go, all right, well, just kind of sit there and we'll go get it and give a shot of antibiotics, done. But that called the Black Death. That caused the Black Death. They call it the bubonic plague. All right. Now, look at where it says a fomite. Wow, I can guarantee you there's probably not one person here that's ever heard about fomite. Look what it says. Any inanimate object as a towel or money or clothing or dishes or books or toys that can transmit infectious agents from one person to another. That's a fomite. That's a fomite. So if you have dirty money or dirty dishes and it spreads a disease, that's the vehicle that spreads it. That spreads it. Let me see. All right, check this out. Look closely. This is one of the churches in Europe. It's called the Bone Church. These are all people who died from the Black Death. And what they did was they decorated the church with their bones. Check it out. I mean, that's the real deal. Skulls, candles, femurs. There's so many dead they didn't know what to do, so they took the bones and decorated the church. Look at this one. Would you want to stay there overnight? I'd do it. Look at that. Check it out. I mean, they really put some thought into this. Look here, they have a butt bone here. Sacrum. Anyway, kind of cool. Okay, last thing. Nope. Last thing. Yep, this is it. Whoa. Endemic. Bacteria in people, or you can put disease in people, whatever. If it's an endemic disease, it's one that's always found in the population. Can you name a disease that's always found? Flu. It's endemic. Anything else?
Cold.
Cold. There's a guy right there. Jesus, I'd be sweating bullets right now. Yeah, there you go. Wave it away. He's been sneezing all morning.
I got allergies.
And Kendrick and Mark, you guys get any closer? Man, it's over. That's endemic. So endemic means it's always in the population. So our common colds used to be super flus. We know that. So back in the Spanish flu in 1917, so many people survived that. Now it's probably a cold. But it's always in the population. So demic, having to do with people. Endemic, always present. Now look, here's one when it started, the COVID just started, it started in China, right? And it was an epidemic. But a difference between an epidemic and a pandemic, pan means all over the world. Epidemic just means in a location. So China was a location. So 2.5 years ago, COVID started in China as an epidemic. Do you know they're still locking people down? Because it's still every once in a while, and they'll lock, like a city. You ever heard of the city called Shanghai? Shanghai has about 28 million people. Huge. And they've got it locked down. They're having to feed people, bring in food. I even heard that they're locking people in their homes. Okay? And then we just came off the pandemic. So officially, I've heard the pandemic is over. That's just planet-wide. Just curious. And you don't have to raise your hand. How many of you had COVID? Okay, so somebody, Chelsea, count. If you had COVID, raise your hand. How many people?
I have a question.
14.
What if you think you had it, but you like never got tested?
Raise your hand.
You just didn't care.
So 15? Yeah. You guys weren't really in the danger.
I didn't really care.
You guys weren't in the danger. It's the older folks, like me, and older. But look at that, 14 out of 22 people. I'd say that constitutes a pandemic. Okay, any questions? All right, so